Hey everyone, this is the
intro music.
Hey everyone, this is the Pixels Get Me podcast. You are listening to episode 10. Tonight we're going to be talking about a few things, just 4 articles on the radar. We have a past, present, future Diablo article, a Final Fantasy VII Remake update, a little bit about Nentir Vale, Dungeons & Dragons campaign, and the Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot Disney Plus thing that might be coming, which I'm pretty excited for. So with that, I'm Pixels. I stream over at mixer.com/pixelsgetme, hanging out with the chat 5 nights a week. Normally we're playing some sort of dungeon crawly stuff like Diablo that we're talking about tonight, or more recently Path of Exile, and a little bit of Diablo on the Switch. So with that, I'm gonna start going around to our guests. First one, we got Cerbz, a regular. What's up, Cerbz?
Hi. I did the intro music.
And you did great. Thanks for that.
I do all the music on the Pixels Get Me podcast.
That might not be a true statement.
My words are not backed by fact.
All right. What are you playing right now, Cerbz? What are you up to?
Intro music.
Intro music. Anything else?
That's what I've been playing.
Wow.
No,
all right.
Nothing else.
All right.
That's all I do.
We also have E-Monster with us tonight. What's up, Emon?
Not too bad. Are we still guests? I'm not like
you're
co-hosts.
I mean, are we not permanent co-hosts at this point? I mean, I feel like we don't have a title. We don't get paid.
I don't even have a title,
benefits. Man. Like, you don't even give us.
I don't have any benefits either.
Like, what the heck?
I don't know. Maybe Vision, after like listen or some hearing after, listening to Cerbz's beatboxing or something.
Well, I mean, if you want your hearing to get worse, we could get you appointments, but like. What?
So 10 episodes. Cerbz might be on about 8 or 9 of those. Emon might also be on like 7 or 8 of those.
I want to say I've been on all of them.
There's only one I haven't actually been to.
Yeah.
When I was when I was in Hawaii on vacation.
You're still guests, though.
Oh, actually, no, Emon, there's 2, because there's the original that none of us was on.
Yeah, because it was just Pixels. He didn't want us around at the time.
You guys were invited. No one came.
Yeah, we kind of abandoned him.
Yeah.
I don't remember being invited. I didn't get an email.
No, we were all invited. We were just shitty people.
I have the VODs for proof. I invited everybody. No one showed up, and that's totally okay. It was better that way, honestly.
Formal invite. Like, I didn't know when you were actually doing it.
Yeah, like it didn't have the Pixels Get Me stamp on it or anything.
Yeah, nothing officially routed through the communication channels. Yeah, but just randomly talked about on the stream. Hey guys, I'm gonna start doing a podcast type deal.
It didn't have any fancy, smelly parchment paper that you usually use.
No wax stamp for the seal.
Yeah, like
the Pixels Get Me seal.
It didn't have a quirky old-timey stamp on it.
You joke about the Pixels Get Me seal. That's a real thing that exists.
I mean, I think that would be pretty cool.
All right, so since you guys are regular guests, so I suppose I should write you a thank you letter with the Pixels Get Me official seal.
I would like to see the official Pixels Gets Me seal.
All right, cool.
Sure.
Well, we'll have to do that. That's fine. I get it. That's fine. All right, so
bring it on your next stream.
So let's
on the table.
Let's
wax seal right on your forehead.
Next stream will be my letter writing stream where I write everyone thank you notes. All right, so let's get into the news, guys.
Oh, narrated like just in your head. You're just reading out what you're writing.
Yeah.
As though it's a story.
Yeah, only my mouth isn't moving. It's just me, and like over on the side, I recorded like a previous voiceover. Like a pause, and I'm like,
"Dear Emon, you've been a good friend to me. I haven't been able to write since winter has come and the crop harvest has been bad this year. However, I regret to inform you, your cow Bessie has died.
I hope we made steaks out of her.
Yeah, really good steaks, like the good cut.
Steaks and eggs, you know.
She was mainly grizzle.
So this was great, but this is a podcast about news, guys.
Yeah,
so we need to talk about the news at some point.
News.
All right, so the first article is from Kotaku, written by Jason Schreier, and I might be pronouncing him wrong. He is the author of Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, which is a cool name for a book because it has my name in it, so that's cool. But yeah, he did an awesome little breakdown. He called the article "The Past, Present, and Future of Diablo." It's linked here in chat for anyone who's following along. But basically, he talked about like a pretty awesome roadmap recap of the development efforts on several of the bigger Blizzard games. A lot of behind the scenes interviews with people who couldn't really even speak to who they were in the just the different teams that they've worked on and stuff like that, and some really cool references to Titan, which a long time ago, that was a canceled game. It was I guess it looms over their head still. It sounds a lot to me like City of Heroes, what City of Heroes could have been, if it was actually by Blizzard, and by a studio that wasn't, City of Heroes had a little toss around between Cryptic and NCSoft and all that, so it's a little rough. But yeah, yeah, it's seriously really rough. But the article is pretty amazing. I highly recommend everyone read it. It'll be linked in the show notes. There's a lot to digest on it. I mean, we're talking about pages and pages and pages. But was there anything that jumped out with you guys?
Well, I think it evens out the timeline with the the lead developer that was on D3 leaving without actually having said anything. Yeah, he went basically silent for forever, and we didn't actually have a timeline as to what he was before he left the company.
Are we talking about Josh Mascara?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that evens that out. I think having information that it was rebooted and canceled and whatnot makes sense as to the kind of timeline we're at now.
Yeah, you're talking the second Diablo 3 expansion that never happened.
The second Diablo 3 expansion that never happened, and then him moving to the Diablo 4 project, supposedly Hades, that got rebooted in 2016. That I believe, did he leave before? I think he left, and then it got rebooted as basically something else.
Yes, Fenris.
It got rebooted as Fenris at that point. So, I like that it evens out the timeline. But Pixels,
yeah,
Pixels, I got a bone to pick with you.
All right.
The other stream, you're talking about how Diablo made no money. I think it was during the stream and the podcast. Made no money. If anything, they broke even. That is a load of bull hockey.
You think so?
I agree with Pixels, though. I do think that they didn't make as much as they were planning.
Sure. But 15 million copies times 60. Do you know how much? Pixels?
Not enough. That's how much that is.
900 million.
Not enough.
Then you add in 40 at minimum between that next year, after Reaper of Souls came out, adding it up to somewhere around 400 to 600 million, putting it conservatively at around 1.4 billion, and on the higher end towards 1.8 billion, depending on exactly how you do the math.
I don't know if your math is right, but yeah.
My math is correct. I've done this all on a calculator. I've looked up timelines and sheets and done everything I needed to know.
But 15 million copies weren't all.
First 2 years of it being released, it sold to 15 million copies. Look it up, scrub.
Right, okay. And those copies weren't $60 each.
No, it wasn't. Like I'm saying, conservatively.
Okay.
like that's why I'm saying it's ranging. All right.
Gotcha.
And then after those first 2 years, because it wasn't an insane period of time that they would have been decreased beforehand. It definitely was, but not an insane amount just yet at that point. But then Reaper Souls come out, which is $40 a pop, or $60 for the Ultimate Evil, which gave you the base and Reaper Souls. Assuming, because and in that next year, they got, according to what they've stated, they got up to 30 million copies of Diablo 3. So, assuming those are just in that year, because Reaper Souls did not drop very much, period, below 40 in that first year. Assuming all they sold was that $40 or give or take a few bucks, they made several hundred million.
Yeah, so accounts receivable and accounts payable are two different numbers, Cerbz. So it's just something you have to keep in mind.
I understand that. I'm saying they still made profit. Financially, it was not a failure.
But there's nothing that you said there that says that they actually made profit, and that's the bummer.
Yeah. And they made, like Firebird said, they made money off the real auction house. They made a lot of how much you want to... They did not pay that much to build this game. Less than $100 million. I guarantee. There's no way they're making $1.4 to $1.8 billion off of a game.
So when you look at Blizzard's other titles...
Yes, in comparison to, say, Overwatch, which broke groundbreaking numbers, which also came out several years later, blah, 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 blah. This was in a different era of games.
Right. But hold on, man. Hold on. So there's an era before it, and there's an era after it, right? So you have, before it, you had WoW. That was, bringing in that much money every month. That you just mentioned. So again, that game's making money, right? They're basically printing. They had a Blizzard US Mint that they could just like turn on, and it would just like spit out money. Yeah. And they would just like make beds of it and roll around in it and have little parties and stuff. Like there's just stupid money.
Yes, yeah. I understand that. They had a way to sustain that money and keep revenue coming through.
Right, and
I
Overwatch.
Never argued that before.
And Overwatch again, has loot boxes. Yeah. Yes. So they're making money off of that.
Sustainable revenue. Yes, I understand that. And I said that they didn't have a way to sustain it before, but before you're talking about, they didn't make any money, period. It was just a $15 million, a drop in the bucket. No. You're not going to flip it around to say exactly what I said before to make it. No. You said they made no money, period. That is incorrect.
All right,
that is the bone I have to pick with you.
Go ahead,
I do agree with Pixels though, because 15 million sold, right? That's not counting. That's counting the bundle price they sold to Walmart. That's counting all of that.
No.
Yes, because it's not, because when you buy a game from the store, you don't buy a game from Blizzard. You buy a game from Walmart.
Correct.
Not Blizzard. Yeah. Blizzard doesn't charge Walmart the same price they charge you for that thing.
They still made
Walmart
over $1 billion for that.
No, typically it's $45. Yeah, typically it's $45. Is what. So it's a penny business nowadays. Like I don't know if you guys have seen like Amazon pre-orders, but Amazon pre-orders, like I got the Overwatch, whatever their launch edition was called, for $47.99. Origins edition, that's what it was called. It was $47.99. Okay. It's a $60 title, but Amazon knows that it was going to sell 1 million or 2 or 10. So they said, well, we'll just make $1 off of that or $2 off of that. Whereas everyone else, the greedy big box retailer stores, would charge 60, and then they would make, not necessarily be getting that extra $15 by no means. They would get a different deal. Amazon sells a certain quantity, so they get a yeah, absolutely, Bricane. It's always a VOD, and it's also on the podcast links. But yeah, oh man, so this is tricky when we're talking about selling games, right? So a retailer goes into an agreement when they sell a game via a publisher that they get a percentage of, based on the amount of sales that they get a payment per item based on that number. So if they sell 100, they get $1, right? But if they sell 1,000, they might get like $2.50. And if they sell 20 million, they might get like $5 or something like that. You know, like there's this exponential gain in the more that you can sell.
You're still not telling me anything that I don't already know.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
My point is mainly that they did make profit off of the game. They just didn't have a sustainable way to keep revenue coming in. And the last time you completely rejected that fact, which is why I had the bone to pick with you.
Right.
On
So,
this case scenario.
But there's like we don't actually know if they made profit. Like there isn't still, even with all the numbers on the table that you said, we still don't know what the operating costs are. And the fact that the faucet was shut off after X million copies, that shows that, and in the article, you know, they even go into a little bit saying, for the first time ever, Blizzard was concerned about how can we save money. Like, that's crazy. The people have been in the company the whole time, and some of the greats are leaving or were leaving because, like, what do you mean we can't? From
what I read in the article, that seemed to have been coming from a later point.
Yeah, but
like in terms of the cutting corners.
But you have to understand. So when it comes later, and they realize, hey, we have to save money, that's because they weren't actually making as much money as they projected, right? Especially with Activision and all that, and Vivendi and all the mergers and shell companies and all this stuff. Like, there are people taking money that aren't doing anything.
But a lot of these cutting corners are also coming after the record numbers from things like Overwatch, which, so I mean, it's probably partially because they weren't making enough, and I feel like it's also to the other people that are pushing them.
Yeah, so
it's just a bad situation for them in general.
It is, and it's really, this article does a really good job, like, breaking down like some of that behind the scenes talk that no one was really seeing. They could speculate and all that, but like when people are saying straight up, like, yeah, we were told like we had to cut costs on things, they did that because, you know, like Blizzard's a very large company, Activision, you know, even larger, and that merger and all that, but the machine, you know, it moves, and people don't actually see the effect of that in a large corporation until 3, 5, 10 years later. And they say, hey, you know that thing we made, Diablo? Yeah, we looked at the books on that. And for the 8-year development cycle and the maintenance cycle, like, we're actually not in the black anymore. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that they didn't sell X hundreds of millions or X million of copies and made hundreds of millions of dollars. And yeah, we made a profit. But if that profit wasn't sustained, was it actually a profit?
Yeah, Pixels. My point there was, I said this before, that they made profit off of when they sold the game, not that they were able to maintain that revenue.
Right, but you have to keep in mind, operating costs is part of that budget. So did they actually make money off the game?
No.
Maybe, because we don't know, right, Emon? But we can assume.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like they did, because think about it. I mean, how much does it cost to keep this game running that we play every day? You know?
I don't know.
We're saying basically the exact same thing. They weren't able to sustain that. Operating costs, everything included, sure. But on release and on selling those copies, they did make a profit. But after that point that they got rid of the auction house, after 2 years, they weren't able, I believe it was 2 years at least, or maybe it was a year or something. I don't remember exactly how long. That was their way of sustaining that and getting that money flowing back through it. They didn't have that, which equaled them not being able to sustain it and getting the operation costs and blah, 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 which you guys are talking about. I'm just saying, in general, the game as a whole made a profit.
But it didn't.
At that point.
Like, I don't feel it made a profit, because if it made a profit, it wouldn't have to, like, they wouldn't be worried about 2 years. They wouldn't be worried about too much about just keeping it running. Because, you know, if you made a profit, then you made enough to keep it running.
Right. Like WoW is a good example, right? How many expansions does WoW have?
Several.
I don't know.
I want to say
Firebird?
7 maybe.
Firebird? Come on. I know you get the answer for this question.
I stopped playing after like vanilla.
Yeah, and Firebird, Firebird's got another point. You only need to own the last one now, and I'm not saying like to buy into WoW you have to buy all these expansions. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
what I'm saying is they continued to develop expansions for a game because it was making money, and as we can see, they stopped making expansions for Diablo. For what reason? Probably because it wasn't making any money.
Yeah, it's not
So that's
making
the
any
difference.
money. That's not as to say that it hasn't made money in the past, which you were outright denying. In the last thing we talked about.
Well, in the past, that would have been before November 16th, 2018, and probably up to November 16th, 2018. Maybe they hadn't actually made any money. Maybe they were actually in the red, dude.
Sure, but we were talking on release at that point, and for those first early years of it, not at that. No,
I don't think we were talking about first early release. I think I was talking about when, in general, like they didn't make enough money to keep the game running.
Yes, exactly. Which is what we both said like 7 times in the last thing. But then you guys outright denied exactly what I said.
I hear you, Cerbz, and I hear your frustration.
Why are you guys trying to say the exact same things I was saying? I'm talking about the beginning. I've specified this 40 times in both conversations.
We're only saying it because you're right, Cerbz. I
dang well know I'm right. The problem is you guys are nerds and you don't know what you're talking about.
So, Emon, what else jumped out in the article for you? Anything else?
Oh, it feels bad about Titan though. Like that whole thing can really throw off like development in general. Like just having that looming over you, you know?
Yeah.
What do you mean we compared to EverQuest 2?
I think EverQuest 1 and EverQuest 2 had more expansions than WoW, is what he's saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's too bad that the next whatever didn't come out though.
EverQuest Next or whatever? Is that
something
what it's
like
called?
that.
Yeah.
The next in the series, next something like I don't know.
Whatever it was.
Yeah. Also, I want to know what was it, Norden or something like that was supposed to be exactly, like the thing that was supposed to come out before World of Warcraft that they mentioned in this one. Like they mentioned in this article.
I don't remember. Like I don't even remember hearing anything about it back then. So I mean,
yeah.
So I couldn't really honestly say anything.
Well, no, I'm just saying in this article it talks about the thing that was basically supposed to come out before that, like in World of Warcraft's place.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't remember hearing anything about it back then, so I really have no idea.
Yeah, things were pretty hush hush back then too, though.
Yeah,
back then it was more hush hush, I think, because
there was less internet to make things crazy.
Yeah, less video bloggers, you know.
Yeah.
With their whole like sadness and basement background and whatnot.
Reaction videos and whatnot.
Yeah. I never had a basement, so I couldn't have a basement background.
Yeah, it depends where you live. You know, some places you just don't have basements. In Texas, we don't have basements. I did have a beach
background at one time, so that was kind of fun.
Nice. Yeah, there was several other things that jumped out, like the fact that they have a Pokemon gym at the Blizzard headquarters that is fought over regularly. That's kind of interesting. So
you know, the Warcraft statue.
So it's interesting that, like, you know, how much of an effect other games could have on their thought process, you know?
Yeah.
One thing that kind of shoots, I forgot what I was reading the last time. Hold on. Let's see here. Where is it? How much of a hit it's become in China too, though.
Are we talking Diablo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been big in China for a while now, man.
Well, yeah, no, I know that, but like, how big is it? Like, it's pretty damn big, which is why
it's very hard. Yeah, it's very hard to know how big the Chinese market is. It's such an obscured number, you know.
Probably way bigger than our market, though, like by a lot.
Oh, most definitely, probably.
Yeah, at least more than our market, but yeah, by like
I just don't want to overshoot, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think they even have more people than our market.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
they
have
have-
way more.
There are
people
3
than
times
our
as many people as our market. Yeah.
So I mean, like, you got all these people, you know, nothing to do or whatever. Like,
With
it probably makes life better, you know?
with a lot of phones.
Right. I mean,
That's
look at
great.
the guy that plays Pokemon Go, man. He's got like 11 accounts. Rides around on the bike.
Yeah, boys.
Call him Uncle Pokemon.
It's awesome.
Oh, I'm serious. There's a whole article on it. It's in. I think they got it. It's in New York or whatever. The Chinese guy. But he's in New York. They call him Uncle Pokemon.
Yeah, so a little bit of info on Immortal again.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Titan throwback was interesting. They said a thing about it. It said
I don't
Titan was the
remember.
code name for a brand new MMO that Blizzard started developing around 2007, a cross between The Sims, Left 4 Dead, and Team Fortress 2. You'd run a business during the day and turn into a superhero at night. It's like, man, like that would have been so unreal.
Yeah.
Gosh,
It was so
guys.
unreal. It's not real.
That would have been so good.
I mean, it would have been interesting. I mean, it would be like a DC universe, basically.
No, City of Heroes was better than DC Universe Online.
No, I'm just saying, like, like it'd be like based pretty much the same thing. Like,
I think it would be a bit different because if you're having the aspect of during the day running some sort of store, I think that would honestly, I think that management aspect would add a lot
Yeah,
to it.
would you?
I just want to
actually
know
be
how
running the
customizable.
store?
I mean, depending, yeah. I mean, that's
Like,
not.
what are you selling in this store?
I don't know. Maybe you make
Like-
maybe you want to run a haberdashery. I don't know.
No,
Maybe.
But
it'd be like your auction house, you know, and if you were in the store, you'd get a extra percentage of the sale or something like that. Like, I don't know if it'd actually be.
I feel like an actual store manager followed by you use whatever profits you get to be like the biggest, most awesome hero at night would be pretty cool. But
I mean, okay. I'm curious.
like building, crafting things to sell, doing all that stuff, that wouldn't be.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. Like I said, it'd be interesting nonetheless. Like, because I do play like, you know, like Armor 3 City Life, where you pretty much live your life as whatever you want to live your life as. You have stores, you have whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then you also you can be like, you know, like you can be a guy that collects ore and sell ore to the market, and everybody buys your metal so they can craft guns so they can shoot each other. But you also run the risk of being the guy getting shot at when you're gathering your ore, you know?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, and then imagine taking all the profits from that and then putting it into your superhero gear and
Right.
being the most awesome superhero kicking. Like, I want to know what kind of customization that would have had for like the heroes, because like City of Heroes and
Mhm.
DC Universe, whatever it was online, and
Yeah,
all
like,
that. Like, there was a fair bit of
mediocre.
custom. And in terms of what you could be and what you could
Right,
look
right.
like,
Yeah,
I mean, there
but-
was a fair amount, man.
It was like 7 trillion combinations, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty mediocre compared to nowadays.
No.
No, it's pretty good.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just didn't like the graphics really for those other games.
Oh no, they weren't great.
Yeah. I think
Graphics weren't great.
That's why I feel it's mediocre. But
Yeah, one of my first YouTube videos
but
a
I
long
mean,
time
you
ago.
like PoE, so
yeah,
Oh,
I feel PoE's graphics is mediocre.
and yet you love the game.
yeah,
Yes,
it's not
because
about it's not about graphics.
Because
Yeah.
it's, you know what, it's when it comes
Speaking
to
of
PoE for
being
me-
not about graphics, Pixels, roll the next article.
All right, are we good? You guys want to move on?
No, I was just cutting him off so that he could.
All right, go ahead, Emon. Say
Go
your
ahead,
thing and we'll
Emon.
go on to the next piece.
No, I don't want to. You cut me off already, so let's go.
Oh man.
Segue!
Oh my gosh.
Rude segue.
All right, so the next article we're talking about is the Final Fantasy VII Remake. This isn't much of an article. This is just a random update based on a quote, but the quote was
So is it an actual is it factual or just I think we're gonna have a Diablo 4 because they made Diablo 3
No, I think
kind
it's
of thing?
no.
the dev team actually came out and said afterwards that's kind of what they're focusing on, I believe. I could be wrong.
Are we talking about Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy, or are you guys talking about something else?
What?
Like, I just want to make sure we're talking about the same thing, because I think Emon said something about Diablo.
Yeah, I
was talking about Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy.
All right, Emon, what were you saying?
I was wondering if the information for about the Final Fantasy remake is like actual factual, or is it like when everybody thought there was going to be a Diablo 4 announcement because you know that's what they wanted.
Yeah, it's just all it was a Tetsuya Nomura who's doing the Final Fantasy development, and also a little bit of the Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff. I mean, pretty legendary dude with Square.
Head honcho.
Yeah, he's like the man. He said he was talking about marketing, which will fully focus on the Final Fantasy VII Remake after Kingdom Hearts 3 releases in January. He said, as I said in during E3, development is going favorably on Final Fantasy VII. I just wanted to say that the current PR priority is Kingdom Hearts 3, as it was during the Artenia event the other day, but after that, it'll be Final Fantasy VIII Remake, so please don't worry. So it's not like...
Oh,
yeah.
So they're gonna remake 8 too now?
Yeah, and it's like the first time I've seen that like officially dropped out of the mouth of anyone. And I never played 8 all the way through. You guys can hate me if you want, but
No.
I really liked Squall. I really liked the Gunblade, and that was like the extent of it. I was like, hey, that's cool. And then it looked like it was a romance thing, and I was like 15 and I didn't care. So I was like, no.
I played 8. It wasn't my favorite though.
Yeah.
8 was by far my favorite, but
see, my favorite that I played later on was actually Crisis Core.
Oh, nice.
Crisis Core was really good. It gives like backstory to the mentor slash friend of Cloud for Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So, like,
that was good.
Kind of shows him how he became what.
Yeah.
How he became soldier.
Yeah.
But wasn't.
But yeah, the whole thing was a lie. Spoiler alert. But yeah, the Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII. That was like the first RPG that I fell in love with. You know, so it was like a big deal that this was being remade. Like I was saying, I don't know if I said this on a podcast before or during the stream once, but like my son, my firstborn, his middle name is Cloud, so it's like had that much of an impact on me. But which my wife didn't let me go first name. She said you can go middle name, but anyway, first name is Pixels, by the way.
Foot down there.
I know, right? But hey, I wouldn't regret it for a sec.
McGee. Got it.
Oh my gosh! All right, so yeah, the 7 remake, like the thought that, you know, I played that when I was, I don't know, 14, around there, I want to say.
You played that when you were 14, man?
Yeah, 7. So
was that when it first came out?
Yeah, like it was a little bit after that because I knew
it came out in 97, I believe.
Yeah, so 14, but maybe I was 15 when I started playing it. I don't know, because I'd seen it and I was like, what is this? You know?
I crawl back in my corner now and cry.
Yeah, totally, man. Do your thing. Let me know when you're back. But yeah, the thought of my son being able to play the 7 remake when he's 14 or 15, like that's just too cool. You know, like I don't know, just that generational saga, you know, like that's just I love it. Anyway, it's poetry.
I would seriously, before letting him play that, recommend you have him play Crisis Core though. Get that background and then go into that.
But the remake may have some of that in it, dude. The remake's a remake, you know?
The remake's a remake, but it isn't completely. Crisis Core is a completely entirely different story though.
Yeah, keep in mind that the remake doesn't have to be the exact same story, and they've said several times it's not the exact same story.
No, it's the exact same story.
No, it's not, dude.
No, it's the exact same story.
All right, I'm tempted to jump to the next article at this point.
Can Can't believe you were like 15 when it came out, man. Jeez.
You're not that old, dude. Don't even.
Dude, I graduated before that came out, dude.
You're not that old, man. Once you're over 30, you're just old, all right? But you're not that old.
At that point, you're dead.
What?
There's nothing left.
Cerbz is like 19.
I'm older than 19.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Cerbz. You're messing with us by saying we're old, so I just wanted to make you a little bit younger than what I think you are.
I'm 12.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cerbz is 12. You know, he's 12.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Pixels Gaming Podcast. Today we're talking about Diablo 3 and Final Fantasy VII. And now my balls dropped.
All right, so let's jump into new media. So we don't have any tech. Typically we go gaming, tech, and then new media, but I'm just skipping tech today. We're gonna talk next about Nentir Vale, which is a so D&D Beyond, which is an official partner of Dungeons and Dragons. They have a Twitch channel called
D&D Beyond.
D&D Beyond, and they've been doing. Oh my gosh, they've been building up a. There he goes.
You got your one.
Like, dude, are you doing like an actual theme song? Like, this is epic if you are. Like, what is that?
That's an actual commercial for them from a D&D stream that I can get you a video for you.
Okay, cool, thanks. But yeah, so they have a nice Nentir Vale campaign coming out where they're going to be doing this on Twitch with, I don't know, 6 or 7 guests. With Merles, which Merles is one of the big guys in the D&D side. He's going to be DMing, which is a dungeon master, in case people who are listening don't know what that is. But Nentir Vale, the campaign, is kind of interesting because it's like the post-apocalyptic version of D&D, where there's you have like the world, but like very bad things happen to different parts of the world. So some of these ways to get from point A to point B, like city to city on the same continent, are almost impossible to get to. So it's almost just a feat of walking over a desert or walking through a forest, So pretty cool concept. I'm all about the post-apocalyptic stuff, like Borderlands. I love Borderlands, but to have the post-apocalyptic D&D side where you still stay D&D and you have to deal with all the world just falling apart, it's pretty cool. And Firebird's saying he did a 4E campaign with some friends, and so did I. Like, I didn't
I did quite a few.
Yeah, I read 3.5 stuff, but I never really had a group growing up to mess around with it. And then 4th edition, we got into that. I DM'd a couple groups in 4th edition, which I think a lot of people consider that a failure, but honestly that was like my first bit into D&D, so I didn't think it was bad at all.
Because it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. People like really hate on it though, man. Like, geez.
But look at how many people hated on Diablo. I mean,
oh man, you're just bringing that whole donut back, man.
I'm just saying, like, you take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Donut.
Like, all people are gonna have their own opinion, whether they're right or wrong.
I think the only I played a couple games, but they were all Pathfinder and they ended quickly.
Gotcha.
I sent you the link for the video if you wanted to pull it up, Pixels.
This is the D&D commercial?
Yeah, it's D&D Beyond official theme.
Erg.
I started from the beginning when we did that, though.
But yeah, so they're going to be doing I think it's November 28th is when they start Heroes of the Vale. So I followed them on Twitch. I might be trying to catch some of those VODs and just kind of see how it goes.
Are you planning on doing anything?
Probably not. But I'll live vicariously through other people,
I mean, I'd be down.
I'd be down too, dude. It's just a matter of time.
2 hours.
No, like when I was DMing, I would do like hours of prep every week, and then finally be able to.
So don't DM.
Yeah, but if I don't DM, then I don't know what's gonna happen. Like the reliability, like I know my personal reliability, and if I say I'm gonna DM, I'm gonna DM until everyone dies and gives up. But I don't know if someone would do that same thing for me, so I wouldn't feel like I'd be able to be invested.
I want that kind of challenge, but I want to also last till the end, like towards 20, so I get those awesome. So I'll go through as many characters as I need to, but.
Well, check that out. Firebird's gonna be doing a D&D stream on the weekends. Awesome, dude.
Yeah, no, he's gonna do it on Sunday when I have to go to work. What a douche.
I'll be free, Firebird. You know you want me. I'm awesome.
Wow. My Sundays are available as well, but I don't know what the future holds at the moment, so I don't want to commit.
I can do Sundays, not Saturdays. So if you do them on Saturdays, that's not gonna work for me.
Fail. I'm actually like just request off every Sunday.
Gotcha, Firebird.
Yeah, and Burkane was saying 4th edition was good for newcomers, but it was so cookie cutter. And yeah, I think you're right, Burkane, but it was so cookie cutter, I think it rebooted the franchise and invited new people into it too. So while everyone who was already in it was ticked that, hey, this is so cookie cutter, like what am I doing with my life? The other people who got in, they might still be playing 5th edition now, whereas it is 5th edition, right? I didn't call it like 4.5 or anything stupid.
Well, they're on 5th edition.
Yeah. Right, so the people who were in 4th could easily go into 5th, and then the people who were in 3.5 are finally happy with 5th. So it kind of brings both communities together.
And then they could shift back down to neutral and just like, you know.
I've walked by the 5th edition books so many times and almost bought them so many times. Like little box sets and stuff, and I'm just like, man, I just want to know.
Why not buy it then?
Because, dude, this stuff takes time, man. If I had a 38-hour day, 10 of those hours would be Path of Exile, so I'd have to cut down Path of Exile time just to mess around with D&D, you know.
I mean,
D&D PoE
doesn't sound like a bad trade. No, I'm
Pixels, run a D&D Path of Exile game.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Firebird buying the player's handbook, the player's handbook, and like the 2 other books that come with it. The nice little box set. Hi. All right, let's move on to the next article.
I'm telling you, that skill tree would not be confusing in a D&D game.
No, it'd be perfect. It'd be awesome.
And you get to randomly control what gems they get.
Oh man, that's bad.
You get cleave, but I'm an archer. You get cleave.
Yeah, that's why we're not letting Cerbz DM.
Aye. Yeah, Burkane is sold on 5th edition.
Nice.
All right, so let's move on to the last article we've got, and then whatever chaos comes after that, I have no idea what I'm walking into. But yeah, so we're talking about new media still. We're covering Disney Plus, which is the new Disney streaming service that we talked about previously. It looks like this is courtesy of comicbookmovie.com, but it should be treated as a rumor for now. But that hashtag show has learned that there are plans in place for a Disney Plus limited series featuring the Raccoon and Groot, which is awesome because, as you can see behind me, I'm kind of a Groot fan, so I will consume any content that Groot is featured in.
Groot?
The Groot, yep.
Groot.
And yeah, so I'm only bringing this up because I'm excited. I don't know if anyone else is equally excited about tree people saying the same 3 words over and over again. But if it's animated, if it's CGI'd, if it's slightly live action, whatever, I don't really care. I'm totally down for it.
I'd be fine with CGI animated. I don't want live action, but I mean, I do like the idea of them going into other things that are not, you know, Avengers and Iron Man and Thor for the 4th, 5th, 7th time. Don't get me wrong, I liked the Thor movies, but I don't know.
But there comes a time when it's, let's just smash it until it's dead.
there's so many good, less explored characters in terms of like cartoons and cinematic universe, whatever that you want to go about.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess they want to go with what they feel is going to make money because the reaction from, people in general.
yeah.
They're like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And then it flops or something, But
And what's funny is, I think part of the reason why they did it besides that is because realistically, if you go back before, these Marvel major blockbuster, before the Spider-Mans, like overall, they haven't been doing major hits for that long. Like,
right.
movies that came from comics or anything of the sort generally failed horribly before a certain point because they were garbage.
Yeah, almost every time.
Yeah.
It's just like video game movies. The same thing. You're like, really?
Oh yeah, video games movies are always the worst, dude. Like,
The Warcraft movie.
So yeah, what do you guys think of the Warcraft movie? Man, Cerbz, you were totally going there, dude.
I thought it was. I liked the nods to the people that have actually played the series and know the lore.
Yeah.
Some of them even I didn't get because again I stopped after a certain point.
I never played it, so other than.
Did you like the movie?
If they do another, yeah, Emon, did you like the?
What?
Did you like the movie?
I didn't watch the movie.
You didn't watch the movie at all?
I don't movie.
Oh, you don't movie. Yeah, that's a good point.
I haven't watched a movie in like 10 years.
So what movie have you watched in the last 10 years, Emon?
None. I listen to movies because my wife's watching it, but that's about it.
But never like sit down on the couch,
Nope.
watch a movie?
Nope. The last time I watched a movie, we can't talk about it because it's not.
Gotcha. So how about TG or how about TV shows?
I don't TV very often.
But last TV show.
My wife watching Walking Dead and blaring in my ear.
So you weren't actually watching Walking Dead?
Nope.
That's cool though.
That's good. You should
games.
avoid that at all costs.
Firebird will speak for Emon and just say I like the movie. So we still have a vote from the Emon district. So
whoa. Why is that an Emon district person?
That's a slum you don't want to go
because
down.
Because you actually brought Firebird into the stream, did you not?
That's true.
So he's from the Emon district. You know? If we get enough Emon district people in here, Emon will become king of chat and Cerbz will be dethroned.
That's not accurate.
Sure. I think the people vote, man. You know?
Yeah.
If he gets
we've already
100,
discussed that it's going to be a 4-year whatever term, and then you get the elections, and then you get another. Like, we've had this conversation, Pixels.
yes, we have.
But I think if they made another Warcraft movie, they would. I think they should. I like the nods, but I really think they should make it more accessible to not just Warcraft fans. Because if you went, I knew people that went that had no idea anything about it that still overall enjoyed it, but I feel like they should make it more accessible because that movie's mainly only geared towards the people that know what it's about.
Yeah, the more you knew about it, the better off it was. You know, like it made way more sense. All the nods and all that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The what?
Like the nods, stuff that happened like in the game, even like little things, like just things that happen in the town or whatever, and you'd be like, wow, that totally happened in the game.
So I really wish they would cut out the filler scenes of the archer going to buy arrows every 5 seconds. Like, legit, that was like pretty much the entire movie.
Oh my gosh.
No, guys, gotta wipe out of arrows.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a legitimate thing. You mean you don't have infinite arrows in your backpack, you know?
Well, it's not a legitimate thing anymore. That was gone after they added.
It was like an old throwback joke.
Yeah. But you wouldn't know that, would you?
No, I actually don't. That's why I said
Scrub!
Whatever. I went and chose Eve instead of,
Yeah, what about an Eve movie? Would you watch an Eve movie, Emon?
Probably not.
Okay, just checking.
I think
there is three Eve movies that are made by fans though, but I haven't watched them.
like if they were like major motion picture, like big cinema, and it detailed like one of the big wars or something, and the planning and the actual fight.
No, because they wouldn't have all the players. They wouldn't have all the players that are in there.
Even the statue doesn't have all the players, you know?
Sure, but I mean,
Emon's on the statue, but not everyone.
The story
Well,
versus
one of me is on the statue. The other me is not on the statue.
I don't know. I think in general
The original E-Monster is not on the statue. Because that character got banned a long time ago.
All right, with that, I think we'll do the streamer shout out and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
So this week's streamer shout out is CryptoHelix over on Mixer. He's a member of the Breath of Variety stream team. I'm gonna bring him over here real quick. Lately, I think the last time I was hanging out in his stream, he was playing Ark. Pretty entertaining stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he's got solid production quality. Usually it's just typical like Fortnite, Call of Duty stuff. But when he does play the other stuff, like he played Rocket League recently, he's pretty awesome to watch. So definitely go check him out. It's CryptoHelix, all one word, no underscores or anything. And with that, I think we're gonna call it. I don't know if we have a kick to the curbs segment.
Exos.
Curbs, what you got, man?
So
we gotta watch
video
this.
is in the thing.
We got a video on the thing.
Well, sports fans, if you're as big a fan of sports as I am, then you're gonna love this. This is MMA at its finest. Play the video.
Oh my goodness.
I don't have a link.
Plays. It's in Discord, DMs, Pixels. This is like the 8th podcast we'd have to go over.
I don't have the link, dude.
You're ruining my segment, Pixels. Get it on the screen.
I don't see it. Oh, there's something. This is gonna be disturbing, I think.
Get it on the screen, Pixels. This is true MMA.
Dude, like, where does Cerbz find this stuff?
Cerbz spends too much time on the internet.
I think so.
Cerbz hasn't spent enough time on the internet in the past few weeks.
So are you gonna call this fight or what?
Oh, no, I'm just enjoying the majesticness.
You should be commentating on this fight.
See, I feel like I could do that, but I would really want to get my thoughts in order first. I don't feel like that.
Alright.
Like, I'd need really good names for them, and they'd have to have, like, signature, whatever, that I'd have to come up. Oh, look at that right hook. Oh, yeah, left. Oh!
Alright, with that, guys, we're going to call
it. It up. Oh, he's charging in. Oh, he's back into the ropes. He's charging back into the center.
Thanks so much for joining us on
this is real
on episode 10
Midget
of the Pixels Get Me podcast. And thanks for the Kick to the Curb segment.
Oh my god, he's down.
I don't know what I'm watching right now.
Belly flop. Oh,
if you're not seeing this on Mixer or on YouTube, I apologize. You're missing amazing stuff. All right, guys.
The retainers.
Thanks so much for hanging out, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you want more of this or if you have a recommendation for a different type of video to make. Like, sub, click the bell, all that normal YouTube stuff. But more importantly, I stream over at mixer.com/pixelsgetme 5 nights a week. We'll be playing a lot of Breach, but I also enjoy Diablo and any other dungeon crawlers or grindy games. The Mixer schedule is in the video comments below, but the latest schedule is always on Twitter at PixelsGetMe. If you like this content, please drop a follow over on Mixer as well, and hopefully you can catch some of my live streams. If I have a few videos that are related to this one, you should see them pop up over here. Feel free to watch some more stuff. You rock.